Landis here with another guitar adventure out in the Great Adventure. If you can see behind me, we're out in the middle of nowhere, but not without a guitar. So I want to talk with you a little bit about this instrument, and you may kind of recognize it, but then at the same time, because I don't have any logos on it, you probably are still kind of guessing, but I'll fill you in on what it is. This is a Squier Classic Vibe 70's Stratocaster with the HSS configuration, and I got my grandson here with me. He's taking off out into the great white yonder. I've done minimal work to the body in regard to changing what it was, because I think that the Classic Vibe 70 Strat is really great the way that it is. The difference between this one and one that you would get stock is that, for one, it's got a different neck on it. And I bought this neck from How Guitar, one of the best places to buy a guitar neck on the internet. It's really nice. It's got a satin finish, and it's got 21 frets. It's a 9.5-inch radius. It's got a really nice smooth feel. It's like a satin, and it's got the truss rod adjustment down at the heel joint, and it's got a really nice nut. It's probably a real bone nut, and I put classic tuners, a split shaft tuners on it, and a single string tree. And if you get a look behind, got a really nice look to it, and that is, I think, one of the things that a lot of people have trouble with on the Classic Vibe 70 Strats right out of the box, is because they've got that large headstock, and a lot of people kind of not really geared towards that look, but the guitar itself is great. So this bridge is a bridge I bought from AliExpress, and if you can see the logo right there on that side, it says ARM. It's a brand that is sold off of AliExpress, one of their guitar shops, and it is a really great trem. And I took the original Squier saddles and just transfer them back over, so you can see I've got the Squier logo or the stamp on the saddle pieces. But this is nice because it's a push-in bar, and it does stay in tune pretty good. This guitar is really nice. You can see it's got a few little particles from being outside. If you look at the trem cavity, I put a little piece of foam underneath the spring to keep the noise down, and then it's got a full-size block, and it's been set up so that the trem is floating, and that works well. It stays in tune. This is a tremolo that I ordered from AliExpress. A tremolo bridge system for Fender Stratocaster electric guitar, chrome, silver guitar accessories, string spacing 10.5 millimeter. And this is
a piece that I got for less than $20 from AliExpress. And I'm just now going to take it out of the package. If it's what it says it is, it's going to be a really nice item. Made by a company called ARM, A-R-M. We'll move all this out of the way. Comes with springs, it comes with a claw, comes with the screws that you use to attach it to the standard 6-screw pre-drilled Tremolo installation holes. And it's got the full-size steel block, and it's got a push-in bar that can be adjusted with this little set screw right here. And this is supposed to replace the standard tremolo that you would find on many of the Stratocasters over the years. This particular one is going to go on to a classic vibe 70's Stratocaster that has the real thin type of a zinc block. It's not the heaviest block I've ever felt, but it's nice. It's steel. It does feel kind of nice. You can tell it's been really milled nicely, and it's going to give you that nice push-in bar that is much more desirable than the thread-in type. And this was purchased for less than $20. So to me it seems like a pretty good piece. We're going to put it on, see what it looks like on the guitar. But from what I can tell, it seems to me like it's going to be really good. They've covered everything up here so it wouldn't get scratched by the grub screws. But you can see the logo there. It says ARM, and once again ordered from AliExpress. I found that a lot of the things that you get from AliExpress are actually pretty good. Some of the things are bootleg, which I guess is a taboo word on YouTube, but I would say replica. Maybe get away with that a little bit better. But looks to me like it's going to be pretty good, so we'll put it on and see how it works. Okay, so I thought I would give you a quick look inside before I button this up and let you take a look at some of the things that I've done in here. Tried to make the wiring as neat as possible. I've tried to do some really neat solder joints, and I found out the best way to make sure that your solder joints are good is to use some flux. And what I use is this stuff right here, and I make sure that I put that on all of the areas where I want to solder so that the solder will stick really well. And I found that the cloth covered wire is really nice because you can actually cut the cloth and slide it and make it touch multiple places. So you see I have a cloth wire that connects right here that goes to the volume, but then that goes underneath and it comes out over here on the other side, and I was able to slide the cloth off and then put it back on so that you can, I don't know if you can see underneath where it goes, the cloth is still connected. But I've kept the original pickups from the classic vibe 70's setup here, and I've just rewired. I've made sure that the humbucker is not going to have coil split. It goes directly to the switch, and it will be just a humbucker, no coil split. But we still have the reverse wind on the middle and the neck pickup, and we've upgraded to full-size pots, and then this is a full-size switch. I bought the switch from Stratosphere, and these pots, I'm not sure where I got those, but they're full-size alpha pots. They are all 250 I did not try to mix the 250 and the 500 because of the humbucker, because on the original Squier setup they didn't do it. So I figured we could go ahead and put it back kind of the way it was, but just make these pots a little nicer. Everything's been shielded inside. Alright, so I've got the neck on, I've got the Tremolo installed, I've got the pick guard all buttoned up. I tested the pickups, everything seems good. I am getting ready to put strings on it, and then I will try to get it all intonated and set up. But I think I'm going to have this tremolo floating, so I want to make it so that it's going to be kind of like that. And how do I get it like that before I put the strings on? Well, what I normally do is I take some business cards, and right now I have about 6. I could make it 7. Let's see how 7 looks. We'll add an extra one to it. So 7 business cards. I'll push down on the tremolo, I'll slip them in there, and I'll take a look and see kind of, it might be a little too much. Let me go back to 6. So I'll say 6 business cards. Put that in there, and that's kind of where I want it to float. If you can see, I'll try to turn it this way. Kind of want it to float right in that area. So then what I'll do is I'll go into the back. I'll take the tremolo bar out because I won't need that during this process. And I'll flip it over, and I will tighten up the tremolo screws so that they're tighter than they should be. I'll put the strings on, and once I get it in tune to the right pitch, then I'll back off of these screws a little bit at a time until the business cards fall out. I think that's probably going to be about right. I'm going to probably have to back off of it a little bit. I want to keep them even. And as you see, it pulls the tremolo down tight against these business cards, and you can see that, but there's still that gap that I would, let's see if I go this way. You still have the float gap that you would want. There you go. When everything's all done, said and done. So I'll put the strings on, we'll tune them up to pitch, and then we'll start backing everything off until these, I'll hold it upright until these fall out, and then that's going to be pretty much where we want it to float. And this neck already had the 8mm peg holes, so I didn't have to use any kind of an adapter or anything, and these machine heads went right in, no problem whatsoever. I only used 1 string tree. I try not to use any if possible. There's rare cases where I can get away without using any, but this one I used 1, didn't need 2. Give you a closer look at the back of the neck. If you can kind of get an idea of the finish we're looking at, it's like a satin, but it's really smooth, really nice, and it's got the skunk stripe, and it's got really nice fretwork. These are the Wilkinson Deluxe Classic tuners, and you can see Wilkinson stamped on there. These worked out really well. So if you've enjoyed this content and you've been able to glean something from it that will enrich your excitement about playing guitar or modifying your instrument, I'm going to ask that you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back next time with another guitar adventure. Take care.